Hi, I'm Sarah Close with Close to Home Consultants and Keller Williams Advisors Realty. Welcome to your October already monthly market update.
Yes, and I'm Jamie Hurtubise. So, Sarah talked to me about last year. We've got a little bit glitch in the stream of data. And what does that do to our comparisons?
It's what we talked about last time when we were here about this time last month. And that is that as we mentioned in our last episode, we had a glitch in the Rapatoni MLS service last fall that essentially froze all the MLS data. So when we're looking at the numbers just sort of, prima facie, it appears as if inventory is up 22% for September of 24 versus September of 23. And that's actually not accurate. But what's interesting, what we do know is that if we look at the continuum of listings, the last 6 months has seen a very significant increase in inventory. And in fact, when we're looking at that weekly data, for this calendar year, we are up about 22% in terms of active inventory, which has made a real difference on what's available. So for the month of September, we actually saw that the number of homes under contract, those houses that were pending, was up about 12.5% over this time last year.
Right. And when we talk about more inventory, it's really important to have a historical context in how we kind of ramp up, because we had been coming off of a period of time, years really, where we had historically low inventory. So a climbing inventory rate where houses might be taking a little longer to sell, it's really important to understand the historical context of that. We actually really want to see that.
Right.
We do want to see a climbing inventory.
So that there's a reasonable inventory to make selections from. We had a lot of angst, earlier this year and last year, where from a purchaser's perspective, it was speed was the most important consideration as to whether or not you made a selection on a home. And now we are finally getting a little bit more in that range of normalcy, where from a buyer's perspective, you get that opportunity to think through the transaction. And here's what's interesting is that really benefits sellers as well, because the unexpected outcome of that fear of losing a home would be that buyers would make a decision, maybe go a little bit too far out over their skis, and then have buyer's remorse. And that was causing a fallout rate of contracts that was higher than we've really ever seen, frankly, than I've ever seen.
Yeah. Well, and so as we have had slightly rising inventory, also we have interest rates that are lower than where they were in recent months. And right now that number is about 6.03%.
Yep, it's the first time we've seen that for a while.
Which is significantly lower than where we've been even just back in like May and June.
Yep, and what we also know is with the Fed's rate cut, that we have not yet seen that total ripple effect through the mortgage industry that we know that we'll be seeing in the next coming months.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, what's of note is that in the month of September, the median price of a property that went under contract was about $285,000. We know that is a solid number because there's no comparison number associated with that metric. It's simply the units that closed in 2024.
Right, and 1,671 homes sold in September of 2024, just last month.
We had average days on the market right around 3 weeks?
Yes. Yeah, sounds right. Sounds about right.
Yeah. So we're seeing that number kind of stretch out a little bit as well, which is again a good thing. We are still nowhere near a balanced market, and we're even further from what might be a buyer's market. But we are seeing the trajectory change ever so slightly to move back towards that zone of normalcy. And regardless, we know that if this is the right time for you to be making a buy or sell decision, that's really the most important factor in determining if this is a good time for you to make a move.
Yeah, so if you have any questions as to how this data might impact any real estate plans that you have in the coming months or early next year, please feel free to give us a call.
Yep, and thanks for spending some time with us today.
See you next month.
I could take flight almost. What's wrong with people?
I don't.
Okay, yeah, make us not sound stupid.
Yeah. And when.
Oh!
You're right.
Oh, that's weird. We do always do that.
Yep. Get it. So, okay.
Okay.
So you,
Where do we look?
you'll be looking.
Okay.
Here.